I upgraded my phone from the S9 to the S22. A few things that I miss from having the S9 is the curved edge display. I didn't know that I would miss that as much as I did. The colors just seem more vivid, brighter. This screen doesn't seem to get as bright, especially outdoors. That's something I miss. Like, I don't keep my screen all the way, the brightness all the way up indoors, but I do outdoors. And it seems like taking pictures, I have to really look and, better to, if I'm in bright light, to see what I'm photographing. It's not horrible. It is not as good as the S9. They say that this new technology, it's to protect your eyes, but I have an issue with that. And I noticed others have talked about this issue too with this, new technology. Yeah. So I had a friend who was taking pictures of us at a park, and she said, "How do you see out of this thing?" She said, "Even comparing to my phone." And I said, "Well, the screen brightness is all the way up. That's just is what you get from this phone. I'm looking at you now. I'm in the shade, and it looks like my screen brightness is all the way down." And to me, that is kind of an issue. Battery life is subpar, but not really a deal breaker for me. It's not horrible, but it's not great. On screen time, like if you constantly have your screen on, watching videos, scrolling social media, you get 5 to 7 hours on screen time, which may be comparable to my S9. I get about 5.5 hours. The one good benefit is it does support rapid charging on the S22, 45 watt. My phone can charge in about an hour. From 0 to 100, it's lightning fast, which is great. Which is really great. My son's over there in the dune buggy, so pardon the noise. Let's see what else. The speaker is slightly louder. It won't blow you away, but it is slightly louder. I don't think you want one that'll really blow you away, but I was hoping for a little bit more increase in quality. I know that people said the quality of the speakers they find amazing. I don't know why, because it's similar to the S9, but just slightly louder. I've listened to Bose, and I know good speakers, and I'm not saying they're horrible. The quality wise, they may be slightly enhanced, but not superbly so. I do notice a slight increase in volume. I have had a couple times, I've had this phone about a week, and there's 2 or 3 times I've had a few crackling sounds. Supposedly a known issue with the S22. It doesn't happen to everyone or every device out there, but it can happen, and this is a known issue. I've only had this happen maybe twice, maybe 3 times. It might have been related to my speakers, or it could have been related to what I was actually listening to. So maybe not actually my speakers, but maybe on the other end. I can't say one way or the other. I got to give it some more time because it's only happened a few times. Supposedly a known issue though from research that I've done. The phone can charge at rapid speed. It's a nice phone, but it seemed like going from the Galaxy S5 to the Galaxy S9, there was just so much more that the phone offered. You had video increased drastically. The camera increase was so much better. And speaking of camera, that is a benefit. This camera is pretty nice. The image stabilization is better. The 3 times optical zoom is really good. Even going into 20 times digital zoom, I can get pretty clear images. It's not a DSLR camera, but I've gotten some pretty good images that are close to DSLR like photos. I mean, if you was to print them out, blow them up and print them out, I mean, you might be disappointed, but I mean, for social media, it's just wonderful. The camera is just nicer than the S9 in many ways. The image stabilization is better. I'm not saying it's worlds better, but it is a few in all aspects for the camera, as far as in video, image stabilization, video stabilization, all aspects are improved. Have they been greatly improved? In some ways, yes, and in some ways, just slight improvements. So if you're going to replace this phone just for the camera, I'm not sure that it would be worth it. You might as well just buy a $1,000 camera, DSLR camera, beginner DSLR camera, and go that way, because you would get a better camera that way. So do not buy this phone if you're just looking for a better camera, unless you just have a lot of money and can do it. Just go ahead and do it. But I haven't seen huge benefits in technology. It just seemed like going from the S5 to the S9, there was a lot more that you got, if that makes any sense. It just seemed like, the S9 was kind of cool in the beginning, because you had all the avatars, and then we had the slow motion, which I liked, because I used that a lot the first few months, just testing out the slow motion. It just seemed like you got a lot going from the S5 to the S9. And it seems like over the past 4 years, technology has not increased drastically. One thing that we have had a benefit, like I said, camera, and slight in the speaker department. Battery, no. Technology, no. I mean, now I miss, like I said, I feel like the screen was more vivid in my S9. The curved display just made everything so vivid, and just the resolution even seemed better in the S9. Like I said, they added this new technology to protect your eyes. They should have something where you could turn that on and off as needed, because I go outside and I have pretty good eyes. I mean, I'm 37. They aren't quite as good as they used to be 10 years ago, but I don't wear glasses or anything. And the issue I see is not indoors, but outdoors. I need to really increase my brightness, because I feel like, I'm taking a video here and I'm like, I'm barely seeing you. I'm barely seeing myself. So, yeah. And I'm a little bit in the shade. So, that to me is a bit of an issue, personally. And if I switch hands, it's just because I have, some shoulder issues. So I'm trying to think what else. The front-facing camera is definitely an improvement to the S22. I was slightly disappointed. I could get some good photos with the S9 in bright light. I would often come outside to take photos, selfies, because that way I could actually get a decent photo. But low light performance on this camera is definitely improved too. All around, the camera has definitely improved. If it's worth it for you to upgrade to have a nicer camera, then by all means pay the money and do so. But I'm not sure if from hearing how amazing the camera is, maybe I expected the camera to be a little bit more amazing than it is. A lot better, but I expected it to be probably a little bit more amazing than it is. But I mean, that's just from watching videos and seeing pictures, but I have taken some very nice shots from this phone, and I'm pretty happy with it. But as far as technology wise, even the phone, it just doesn't seem faster than my S9. Comparing them, I've used them. To me, if it was, I would know. Going from the S9 to the S22, if there is a difference, it's not enough for me to be able to tell. I can, however, go to my mid-range phone, use that, and I can drastically tell how much faster my Galaxy phones are. I just don't feel that phone has slowed down at this point. It's still a good phone, and I really didn't have a reason to upgrade. I just did. I really can't complain, because I'm the one who upgraded. I'm the one that did it. So I felt like it was probably about time having a 4-year-old phone. If not, it would be time soon. I kind of wish I would have held out for the S23, which would probably be 23 will probably be an even better phone. Probably the 25 will be awesome. So we'll probably upgrade next in another 4 or 5 years. So I'm stuck with this phone now, but I'm using my S9. I charge it up if I'm going to be somewhere where I'm gone complete solid day and want to take pictures all day, or I'm going to be on my phone a lot and don't want to lug around my big camera. I will take both phones, so I can just, they easily fit in one of my smaller purses, and each of them do, and I have kind of 2 cameras to bring with me. So I'm still using my S9 because I can get on Wi-Fi with it and post pictures to Facebook that way. And so I can use my S9 when this camera, when my phone, if my phone was to die while I'm out and I wasn't in an area where I have a charger, you know, you know, I'm getting use from it. So it's good to have two phones for that way. You know, I could just have an iPhone or another phone with a more amazing battery that would last a good bit longer than this one, but I am stuck with Android. I like Android. I've had them. I've also had an iPhone. I've used iOS devices and no issues with them. I really like them when I did have one. I just, again, when it was time to get another phone, you know, it was a good deal. I got it and it was a really great deal. So I kind of go for what best my money would get me if there's a new deal. The only deal that they had was iPhone deals, so I took it and I switched from my Android to an iPhone. I could not pass that deal up. Well, this time I'm still with the same carrier and I decided just to get a phone upright. I probably could have traded my Galaxy S9 and got some back for it. I think at the time when I was looking, I would have gotten 100 and some back. I missed the opportunity where they had, I think, up to 200 back, but regardless, I'm not too terribly disappointed. I guess I'm more or less not, you know, when you pay this much money for a phone, it's not like I got this phone free or even greatly discounted. I guess you just expect a little bit more from your phone, if you know what I'm saying. Because right now, if you switch to certain carriers, you can get like the A52 and some other mid-range phones for like $49 when those phones retail for like $400 or something. So yeah, they should have some, I feel like they should have some better offers for these phones. I know that one of my friends is with Verizon and he had a really good offer. He got a really good offer, but he still ended up paying a lot for his phone. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's just when you pay a lot of money for a phone, sometimes when you get your phone, you expect more than what you receive. Like I said, this phone, I have not seen enough to warrant the upgrade from my S9 to my S22. Camera is a little bit better. I was pretty impressed with the optical zoom and even the digital zoom. Like I said, close range shots don't seem that much better, but the stabilization for 4 shots do seem a little bit better. Stabilization seems better because I have gotten photos of my son jumping around where my S9 might have some hand and feet blur. Here I'm getting more stable shots. Not all of them may be stable, but more of them are stable, which is worth it to me in a way, just to have a nicer camera, because I'm not always a phone camera, because I'm not always lugging around an expensive camera. But I'm still not sure it's enough to warrant the price, unless you have to upgrade because your phone died, unfortunately. Then, even then, you could probably go for the a year or two, the S20 or S21, or maybe even the S10 Plus. A new one or a refurbished one would probably do you well, instead of getting these phones, because after a year they do go down a lot. You can still get a new phone, but the price goes down. So the good thing about this phone is that I believe it has 4 or 5 year software updates, so that you can continue to reap the benefits and use your phone. So your phone will hopefully last longer, unless there is some malfunction somewhere and you have to replace your phone. But having additional software updates for the S22 is a good thing that Samsung implemented. Taking the SD storage out was not great. I hate losing the expandable storage, because now they want you to pay for internal storage, for having more internal storage. You pay a lot of money for that, and it just seems like a money gimmick, and it's just, I'm just really not happy about that. I miss having the micro SD card slot a lot. I don't necessarily miss the headphone jack, because I use wireless earbuds, but that would be an option that some people liked, and I just feel like they should give the customer back some things that they like, just because you know, for whatever reason. I know for some purposes, like not including the charger, they said it was because, you know, recycling purposes or just a waste, you know, I don't know. It just seems like that they're just cutting corners in some ways, and I'm sure some of it is because of, you know, recycling issues, and some of it's not. And it's just kind of a disappointment in some ways. You know, like I said, I'll say it again, going from the S5 to the S9 seemed like such a bigger improvement to me than going to the S9 to the S22. Because, you know, that's when we went to the S9, I had slow-mo and these cute little, like, video clips that you got from taking pictures. Sometimes we'll put it into cute little video clips, and you had slow-mo, and then, of course, we had the avatars, and it just seemed like we had a lot more advances in technology going from the S5 to the S9 than going from the S9 to the S22. So that just seemed like a little bit of a letdown. And I hope in the future, in the next year or two, maybe Samsung will put some more cool little things that could cheer us up as far as technology goes. I don't know what, and I know some of that might be corny or stupid to some people, but I mean, something that will be kind of fun and exciting. What that is, I don't know, but something that'll be fun and exciting to have. So, yeah, and I just feel like they've downgraded the screen. They've just downgraded a lot. And now, also, I don't feel it's fair. I have to have a small screen, a small phone, because I have little hands. I have arthritic hands, so arthritis in my hands. And they just put more features on the Plus and Ultra models, like a bigger battery, larger screen. I don't need the larger screen, but they, you know, better camera, like on the Ultra. And I can kind of understand a little bit with the Ultra. You might need a bigger phone for a better camera. You might need, you know, with the chipset and all that, you might need a bigger phone to put a bigger camera on it. But I think they could do a little bit more for us. And when we choose to have the regular version of a phone, they could put some added benefits. I wouldn't mind paying extra money to have a little bit of a bigger battery, to have a little bit of a better camera, and better all around. Just because, you know, we choose a smaller screen doesn't necessarily mean it's just because we can't afford a bigger phone. In some ways, yes, that is true. It's you know, $800 is a lot of money, and I wouldn't want to pay $200 to upgrade just to get a slightly bigger screen and a slightly bigger battery. Because when you have a bigger screen, you're going to need a bigger battery anyway. But you know, you might get an extra 30 minutes or an extra hour maybe from the Plus battery. I'm not sure that a day, I'm not sure it warrants the $200 price tag that you pay. It might for some people, and just having a slightly bigger screen. And some people have said that the speakers is just slightly better on the Plus and Ultra models too. Now, if that's true, I don't know. But there's very little difference going upgrading from the S22 to the S22 Plus. Now, the S22 Plus to the S22 Ultra, now you have a much bigger screen and a brighter screen, and then you have the crazy zoom capabilities of the Ultra. Having looked at the Ultra pictures and the zoom capabilities, it seems nice, but my DSLR can take better pictures than the Ultra, of course. Some of the zoom capabilities, especially zooming in at the highest range, you do have some grain or some fogginess, and it's better to use a tripod because this is a phone, for goodness sakes. So I feel like, you know, carrying around a big phone like that is just not gonna work. It's not productive, and not conductive to me. It's not gonna work for me. Can't do it. I might be able to handle the Plus model, but I cannot handle the Ultra. And I just did not want to pay $200 extra for the Plus just so I could have a slightly better battery, because the screen, being a little bit bigger didn't make a difference to me. I don't know if you could hear because there's a tractor over there, but like I said, the screen being just slightly bigger does not warrant $200, paying $200 extra, especially when I would prefer the smaller screen. The only reason I almost went for the Plus was for the slightly better battery. But then again, how much better is the battery? Because it is slightly bigger, but then you need a bigger battery when you have a bigger screen. I would guesstimate you might get an additional 30 minutes a day, maybe even an hour max. I doubt, maybe 30 minutes to an hour more a day. I'm just not sure it's worth paying $200 more for that. I'd rather pay extra for more storage, more internal storage, which I was debating doing. I wasn't going to give them more money to have internal storage. I was not going to give them more money. I would purchase it from somewhere else because I don't like what they're doing, taking out our SD card. I don't like it, and I don't want to give them more money. I thought about it, and then also found out that where I was purchasing from Best Buy, they would have to order it anyway. So I'm like, I'm just going to get the 128. I'm not giving Samsung more money because they're, you know, they took out our SD card slot. They took out our storage. They want to make more money off of us so we could buy the 258, because I felt like I at least need 258 for my needs. But I wouldn't do it anyway. It almost made me go with a different company besides Samsung, and I've always been a loyal fan of them. But this was just something I was not happy about. And so after this, like this series goes around, I'm gonna see what I feel about in 3 or 4 more years. This might be my last Samsung. I might switch to Apple. Like I said, I have used iOS before, so don't think I won't go back there. I can't go back there. I used mine and had it for 4 or 5 years. So I do like the customization of Android. I really do, but it's not a requirement to me. And a phone is a phone. So I will switch if I need to, because I just feel like, you know, it's just, you pay so much for these phones, and it just doesn't seem like they're listening to the customer very much. And it's not just me, it's a lot of customers. So just something I'll take into consideration. But I'm going to get off here because now I'm just ranting a lot. But I do like my phone. I just don't feel that it's a reason to upgrade right now unless you have to. Like if your phone breaks and you have to upgrade, by all means, you might as well go up, you know, up a little bit. Like if your S8 or S9 dies, maybe go with an S10 Plus, or you know, an S20 for a little bit newer phone, a little bit, you know. But you don't have to go with the S22 because it just doesn't seem like worth it unless you just have the extra money and want to splurge, because you get a little bit of a nicer camera. Even comparing the S21 that I've seen to the S22, the S22 does take slightly better photos than the S21, and the S21 takes slightly better photos than the S20. And so it seems like each year they are improving some in the camera department, so that is good. But I just don't, you would think a slight improvement each year would make a bigger improvement over 3, 4, 5 years. It just doesn't seem like that much. Besides the stabilization, you know, having the optical zoom and all that, it's really nice having some of these features. So I do appreciate that. I just hope that they can do more in all departments: battery, speaker, camera, and maybe add some fun little things to make our technology, you know, with the screen and everything, just to make the technology seem like it's come a ways. And like I said, another pet peeve of mine is just not being able to really see my own self. I can, but I look like my battery. You know how it is when your phone is about to die and they tune it down, like your phone is at 5% and it's about to die, and you literally can't see much, if anything, outside. I can see, but I can literally barely see myself. So it just and my brightness is all the way up. So this new technology they have to protect your eyes seems okay indoors, but when we get outdoors and I'm trying to video, it just doesn't seem great. Like, I can video my son and see okay decently in bright light or in certain lighting, but where I'm sitting right here, I'm kind of in a shaded area, but there is a little bit of sun. I can see it through the trees. It's not super bright. I just feel like I need more brightness. I need to just be able to see myself more. So it's a little bit of a disappointment. You can probably see this video clearly, but as I'm looking at myself on here, I am very dim. I am very blacked out. And part of that is just, like I said, the new technology they have, and where I'm sitting, I should be able to sit anywhere and be able to see myself. I mean, this is an over $800 phone. So, some little kinks that need to be worked out, but I'm going to get off of here. I thank you for listening to my little rant, my pros and cons. Another thing I like that I can charge this phone fast at 45 watts. I feel like my phone will charge super fast. So if it is low and I need to head out the door in an hour, I could put my phone on the charge and know it'll be fully charged in about an hour. That's a great feature to have. I'm not knocking everything about this phone. It just seems like a little bit of too many cons for such an expensive phone. But it seems like so many people are raving about this phone, and not without reason, because there are some good features to this phone, but I just feel like it's overhyped up sometimes. And you can listen if you go onto Google reviews and look at the reviews, and you see quite a few negatives, a lot about battery, some about speaker, other issues. I think you should just read all the reviews and see for yourself, and maybe wait for updating or upgrading unless you have to upgrade. So that's my take, and that's all I have today, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.